In this position, the white player cannot play the king up to go and support the pawns, because then the black king will be able to take both pawns. So here, if let's say white king goes g2, then king c6, and the king will be inside the square, um, and then he will take both pawns. So here, I don't know, king up or pawn up, either way, even if we go pawn up, king takes pawn, and then the king is just gonna make it. So in this position, I think this position is called Chinese feet. White pushes the pawn to a5, and now this is crucial. These two pawns are controlling these squares, right? The king, yes, the king can go to, let's say, c6, but then white can push a6, and now this pawn is controlling b7, and these two squares are controlled as well, which means that the black king cannot attack the white pawn in a6 at all. He will have to go back. So, like, for example, now the king is out of the square. So if king takes pawn, then the pawn is pushing and is going to make a queen. And if the king goes back to c7 to try and keep an eye on the a file, let's remember that b6, d6, and b7 are controlled, and c6 is not accessible. I mean, it is accessible, but it does nothing. So now the white player is free to bring the king all the way up and support the pawns when they promote. So this is a similar position, and right now the white player will have to play a Zugzwang, so it's important. Basically, these are the Chinese feet. So white now plays the crucial move f5. So this is stopping the king from going to g6, and the king cannot go to g7 because of the pawn, and the king cannot take or go down to the 5th rank because the pawn will become a queen. So right now the black player is forced to push a4, and now king b2 is the move because well, it's just blockading these two pawns. If the pawn pushes, we can take the other one, and the black king cannot move at all. Whatever he moves, then the white player will be able to make a queen. So right now the best move for the white player to win, also because the black player is about to win the pawn in b5, the best move by white is bishop takes in b6. So the king cannot take the pawn because after a swap of bishops, then this pawn would be a queen. So if the bishop takes the bishop, then e6. And now we're threatening to go e7, and then it's going to be a queen. So bishop c5 to stop e7 will be met by b6. And now the bishop can't control both diagonals. So if the bishop takes in b6, then it's going to be a pawn e7, and then it's going to be too late. And also the other way around. If bishop d6, then careful, e7 is not possible because bishop takes and bishop goes back and controls b8. But now simply b7, and now white is promoting. In this scenario, for example, these two disconnected pawns can win against these two connected pawns. So the move now is c5. The idea obviously is to take in b6 and then we're winning. So black will have to do something about it. Taking in c5 is not good because the black king is not in the square. There's 5 squares here, 5 here right now, but it will be white to move. So after pawn takes, pawn goes up, and it's just too late for the black king to make it. So in this position, after c5 and b5, white continues with a5. And right now we have created a pass pawn.